Hey, so welcome back to the VET S.O.S. Veteran Entrepreneur Spotlight. Hey, so remember, please don't drown in the sea of transition. Grab the VET S.O.S. lifeline. Hey, so the Veteran Entrepreneur Spotlight is proud to be affiliated with the Neil Haley Show and sponsored by Peer Point Solution. So what is Peer Point Solutions? They are a one-stop shop for leading edge products, services, and training from multiple vendors. That's including your AI training, corporate gifts, and so much more. They have everything you need to help your organization thrive in a modern economy. So check them out and all the valuable offerings at spearpointonline.com. I'll say that again, spearpointonline.com. And remember, use our code VETSOS for anything that you purchase there. That will help us to continue to our mission of improving the lives of those who have served. So our introduction today, we have the pleasure of sitting down with Miss Jenna Griffith. She's a purpose-driven force with a heart for service and a gift for real talk. As a military and first responder spouse, author, speaker, Jenna brings wisdom, wit, and unwavering faith to everything she does. Whether she's helping families grow closer by guiding others to discover their true calling, or creating peaceful workshops for spouses, she shows up with heart and hustle, reminding us all that life's too short not to live it boldly and with a purpose. So, thank you all. Let's welcome Miss Jenna Griffith. How you doing today, Jenna?
Thank you. I'm doing great. I'm excited to be here with you today.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for joining us. We are, I mean, it's a pleasure to have you on the show. So I just want to jump right into the interview.
Yeah.
So now you a military spouse,
Mhm.
and a first responder spouse.
Yes.
So you've seen the transition of your spouse coming from in the military to out. What was it like on your side as a spouse? You know, because the spouse, we all know the spouses really hold down the household of the
Amen.
military person. So kind of give us your standpoint of what that transition was like when they decided to get out of the military.
Yeah, I think like most spouses, we have this viewpoint that transition is going to equal a normal life. We've
Mm,
had this, all these ups and downs, this unexpectedness, and sometimes chaos. And looking ahead, we're thinking to ourselves, oh, we're finally going to have a normal life. So when
mhm,
we actually started going through that transition process, I was once again surprised by the military to say, no, this is not normal. There's nothing normal about this because there's really no easy way to prepare for that sort of transition. Uh, from my experience, a lot, I guess, of the fear came around not really understanding what does this process look like. I talk about this a little bit in my first book, but I actually ended up being one of the statistics that unfortunately went through a divorce during transition.
oh
And a
my
lot of
goodness.
that came from my service member also not knowing, "What am I supposed to do with my life now? I don't
Mhm,
know what I'm being called to. I don't understand who I am anymore."
mhm,
And me as a spouse saying, "Dude, get it together. You should know what you're doing. We've been doing everything for you this whole time, and
yes,
I'm ready to start focusing on me for a change." And
yes,
unfortunately, that does cause a lot of resentment, bitterness comes up, and at that time, we just didn't have the tools to really navigate through the emotions that we were both having.
mhm,
And, I definitely look back and wish that I had some of the tools that I had today to kinda
yes,
navigate through that situation, but that was my experience, unfortunately, but it taught me a lot, so I'm grateful
abs
for it.
absolutely. Hey, first off, I'm sorry to hear that happen during the transition. I mean, you're absolutely right. Those are supposed to be the time where you feel as though the commitment, the deployments, all of that is gonna be out the way, and you can live a somewhat of a normal life. So I really, I'm sorry to hear that happen to you. Um, now, moving on I guess, a better side of it, how long first off, how long were they in the military before they
10
decided to get out?
years, 10
How
years.
many?
10,
10 years. Very
yeah.
long time to be in an organization that tells you what to do, what to do it, how to do it, all of that. So,
Yeah.
definitely both sides, I can really see how that, you know,
Yeah, and
you're
you gotta
thinking.
think too, a lot of the service members will go in 18 years old, and they're immediately given their basic needs of finances, food, a
Uh-huh.
schedule, exercise, all the things that a lot of young adults try to find along their way.
Mhm.
And so they build these routines and have this safety net in a way of knowing, well, this is who I am, and this is what I thrive at, and this is what I'm good at. And he ended up getting medically discharged, which is a whole nother
Oh, man.
situation when you're not
Yeah,
really choosing to separate. And,
absolutely.
it can definitely cause a lot of frustrations across the board.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So now, so let's kind of shift from the transition. So you're now entrepreneur, and your husband now is a first responder. Am I correct?
Yes, I have a type, it is what it is, I've accepted it, y'all should too. I I married a retired JTAC,
Okay.
and he is now a first responder. So, actually, when we met and got married, he was building homes. So, in my perspective, we were still having the normal life and kind of moving on. And
Mhm.
then he got this opportunity with a nonprofit, Aerial Recovery, that repurposes veterans into special humanitarian operators.
Uh-huh.
And as you can imagine, and any spouse that might be listening, I'm like, nope, don't want to live that lifestyle anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
But
Absolutely.
just like anything else, saying yes to that really helped my own healing to learn, okay, what is it that I'm still holding on to from that experience? And that's
Mhm.
what really started Service and Soul. That's what got my book going, was seeing, hey, there's going to be other spouses just like me whose service members are going to want to go into a field like a first responder because it still gives them that value that they're looking for. And
Yes.
I want to be able to help these spouses say, hey, what about me? What about what I wanna do?
Mhm.
And show that we can do it together.
Absolutely. So what I'm hearing you saying is you took a tragedy from the transition of your previous spouse and turned it into something really positive.
Yeah.
Now, how are you able to overcome that? I mean, that's a big shift for someone
Yeah.
to have to turn into a business.
You know what? My tribe helped a lot with that.
Mm,
I think it's so important
absolutely.
to have a tribe. I ended up joining a mastermind group called G-Force and just try to find what is it that I'm looking for. I have been in real estate. I love real estate. I'm still in real estate, but
Mhm.
you still will have that longing for I want to make a difference. I want to give back. I want to use my tragedy and help someone else with it. So they were
Uh-huh.
a really good sounding board for me to start building on that and learning how I can incorporate that with also helping other spouses to understand, hey, we see you, we hear you, we understand you, we know you, and you are valuable, you are worth finding out what your purpose is, just like the service member is as well. So that's really what birthed Service and Soul for me.
Got you. So now you've shifted to being an entrepreneur. What's been that thing that the best part about being an entrepreneur and that keeps you going, that keeps you driven every day?
The best part is seeing the ahas come across these spouses'
Mm,
faces, and seeing it's when they are seen and their face lights up and you can almost feel the shoulders relax because they're starting to feel heard.
mhm.
To me, that it just means so much. It makes me so happy. So a lot of the workshops that I do and even talking with spouses online and some of our online groups, it is just something about a woman seeing herself that really fuels my fire.
Got you. Got you. So now we know it's not always sunshine and rainbows. We do have some hardships being an entrepreneur.
What?
Kind of tell us what that looked like for you and how were you able to overcome those challenges being an entrepreneur and kept moving forward?
Well, let me ask you first, is it okay that I'm transparent on here, or do you want me to sunshine
Absolutely.
rainbows,
Let's
be
let's let's be
real?
let's be fully transparent. The folks want to know the real deal.
Yeah, gosh, that was so hard. I was scared. Everyone's scared, right? It's not gonna work.
Mhm.
No one's gonna want this,
Mhm.
etcetera. I actually had a moment during the writing of my book where I legitimately threw a three-year-old tantrum in my driveway, and I was crying, and I was telling my husband, I'm like, "No one's gonna read this. I don't know why I'm even doing this. I don't know why I thought this would be anything that was successful." And
Uh-huh.
To me, and what I say to people that I now coach through those moments is it's just the enemy trying to slow you down. That's
Mm,
all it is. When you're at the verge of that just like masterpiece, that's
yes,
when those limiting beliefs come in. That's when the seed of doubt is planted. And that's why I'll go back to my first comment about a tribe is so important because
absolutely.
those were the people who were like, no, people need this. People need to have this healing. People need to
Hmm.
understand that they are valuable and that every one of us has a purpose. We got to snowball it in to everyone else's lives so that they also know what their calling is and they can live a fulfilled life.
Absolutely. And it's so ironic that some of those seeds of doubt and fear are implanted by us in our own thinking. And it's like no one even has to say anything. It's just like we're kind of self-sabotaging
Yeah.
ourselves when we do that. And it's amazing that you have a circle and tribe around you that say, hey, no, keep going. You can do
Yeah.
this. You got this.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yes.
And
So
also
now,
knowing when to reach
wait.
to your tribe.
Mm, yeah.
'Cause that could be another form of self-sabotage is to say, I don't wanna bug them with my problems, or maybe I'm being too childish. That was one of my things, like, am I being too
Hmm.
childish? I don't want anyone to see me being this childish.
Yeah.
So, it's knowing how to look for people that you can trust because
Hmm.
you gotta keep in mind at this time, I'm writing a book, basically a self-help book
Hmm.
about knowing your purpose, having confidence, etcetera. And I'm breaking down like a 3-year-old in the driveway telling myself all these horrible things. I need to
Absolutely.
be able to have someone that I can trust to say these things to that's not gonna be
Yes.
like, "Well, should you be writing a book?" You know?
Absolutely. It's definitely a level of vulnerability that you have to have with those people around you for
Mhm.
them to lift you up during those times of doubt and, like I said, self-sabotage. So it's amazing to have that. So if you're listening right now, what is it? The five people around you will show you what your future looks like.
Yep.
And so I really commend you for having that tribe that continue to push you to being an author and doing some amazing things. So now, when you as a spouse, when you were getting ready to transition out of the military with your previous husband, your ex, did you take advantage of any programs, any type of resources that the military offered for spouses?
Wait, they offer those?
Oh man, yes.
No, I'm not here to hate, but that's my honest answer. I didn't know of.
Mm,
And you know what? For my specific situation, maybe that's because they knew we were going through a divorce and they didn't think I wanted anything like that. But I actually get hired by different military groups, like the one
uh-huh.
I was in, for their spouses. And I'm like, I never had this when I was a spouse, or if we did, I never knew about it. So I do feel like they've come a long way. I mean, that was almost 15 years ago. So what I've
Yes.
been seeing as I'm now in the community is the spouses are getting a lot more help. They're getting a lot more resources.
Hmm.
And I think definitely knowing how to communicate with the spouse when the service member is, kind of going through in processing is really helpful because you and I both know if the spouses know that there's a resource or something going on, we're going to take advantage of that because that's what it's there for.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I mean, knowing is half the battle. I mean, like you said, if you don't know, you really don't know. I mean, just my experience of transitioning is so many resources out there that people just don't even know about.
Yeah,
So, I mean,
absolutely.
so now tell us about the book, um, the business, like what service you provide. Tell us a little bit more about what your business does and what you're doing.
Yeah. So, Service and Soul, the book, is a guidebook for spouses, whether you're active duty, retired, widowed, to really start to dig into maybe some of your own past trauma, how it shows up in your life today, how it's causing possible chaos or self sabotage, and how to move through those. So, it's really not a book about me, it's a book about the spouse and really kind of guiding them through how do we take this mess and put it into a message, right?
Hmm.
How can I look at this with an aerial view to say, what is this teaching me? Why have I gone through this? Because I know I'm not the only spouse who went through transition thinking, well, what did I do this for? What was all
Mhm.
of that for? So it's really for the spouse that might be feeling lost, because we too, I mean, we were special operations, so I was very involved in our community and feeling like I too was part of it. And then when it's gone, you also are thinking, what do I do now? So it really kind of
Yeah.
walks them through finding what your purpose is and how to use it in everyday life. Because a lot of us think, I've had people say to me, Jenna, is your purpose to be a speaker? I say, no, absolutely not, because I could get in an accident tomorrow and not be able to speak. What would
Yeah.
happen to me then? I feel like I wasn't living in my purpose. My actual purpose is to strengthen
Mm.
my relationships, my conversations, someone that I might be coaching or anyone that I might be talking to. And I can do that in so many different ways, no matter what my
Absolutely.
circumstance is. So that's what I
Mhm.
really like to help women figure out. And we do that. Obviously, the book is a starting point. We've got our online Facebook community as well
Mhm.
as workshops that we do for different organizations. So typically, an organization will hire me to come in with my coaches and do half day or full day workshop. And we actually essentially take the book and put it into action in real time. And it's so awesome when you see, because a lot of the spouses will think, I'm not gonna bother her because she's probably going through something too, or I'm not
Mhm.
gonna say anything because they've got small children and I don't wanna bother, them with any of that. Having that group setting and saying, "What? You struggle with that? Oh, I felt guilty
Yeah.
because I
Mhm.
resented that he, went away again." And just
Yeah.
to feel normal. That's
Absolutely.
half of it is just
Yes.
feeling normal around women that get it. And yes, I do have men come to my workshops too. It is primarily women because we get into
Okay.
the feels, but I
Uh-huh.
do get asked a lot if Service and Soul I've actually done couples workshops, and that's really powerful because the service member is able to get a different perspective of what the spouse is processing through and what they're going through. And then my husband's also able to give his perspective to help the spouse come and meet the service member where they need to be met. And that is really powerful.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So now, this was your first book that you wrote, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So now, here's what I'm wondering and I'm curious about for those who may be looking to write a book. Did you have any experts come in to help you write the book? Did you do any special classes or any training to write this book? Or what was that process like for you writing this first book?
So I met a woman at a retreat who was a publisher, and she
Hmm.
said, I'm a publisher. I said, I always wanted to write a book, but as you're alluding to, it can be really overwhelming. And
Yeah.
she said, why don't you just come to my book boot camp that I'm having in a few weeks?
Hmm.
And that was in my yes year. I was saying yes to everything. I really wanted to see where God was placing me in the world. And so
Okay.
I said yes. I flew out to Malibu and worked with her for 6 days, sun up to sundown, nothing but writing. We had papers all over the floor, mapping out the whole
Wow.
book.
So
And
wait a
so
minute, hold on, time out. So you're telling me you went to Malibu for 6 days, you didn't go on the beach, you didn't go sipping Mai Tais, you were in a room with a bunch of papers on the floor,
I was
getting ready to write this book.
I was in her basement, but yes, I could see the ocean.
Yeah,
We
okay,
did go to the beach once for like a meditative, really pull
okay,
some things out. But that
got
was
you.
once.
Okay.
And that was the last day. We were like, oh, we got the bulk of this done. But yes, I've got pictures and videos. I was in jammies all day long,
Oh, wow.
papers everywhere. And what helped speed the process up
Mhm.
is I would pace in the room with my voice memo on, and I would speak the
Uh,
book. And then I'd
okay.
copy that into a Word document, and then her editors, she was like, "Don't think, just speak. Don't worry about typos. Don't worry about grammar. Just word it all out." And
Yeah.
her incredible editors are the ones who made me sound like a really awesome author.
Wow, that is so amazing. So that year you said yes to everything, and in that year when you said yes, you were able to go out and write a book.
I wrote a book, I learned how to do stock trading, I did
Wow.
75 hard, and I finished, and yeah, it was awesome.
That is amazing because I tried Certified Hard for like 3 days, and I was like, "This is too much."
My husband didn't either. I think he went 12 days, and I've told people who've asked me about it, it's not hard, it's just super inconvenient.
Yes, I would agree. I would agree. Yes, you gotta have 2 workouts, 1 in the gym or 1 one out the gym is
Yep,
like, yeah, okay.
yep.
Absolutely. So now, so wrapping up everything, tell the audience, where can we find the book? Where's the best place to connect with you and learn about all the amazing things you're doing on top of the book and the consultation and the workshops, and how can somebody hire you to do a workshop for them?
Yeah, so you can go to serviceandsoul.com. You can
Service and
follow me
soul.
on Instagram. It's my name, Miss MS Jenna Griffith.
Okay.
You see a lot of real estate there too if you wanna move to Florida. Um, and yeah, just Jenna at serviceandsoul.com for any sort of booking inquiries, speaking, keynotes, workshops. I do all of those. And, I don't know, maybe you have to stay tuned to something coming this winter.
Absolutely. So just so we got it all clear, serviceandsoul.com is where they can find the book. And they can reach you at Miss Jenna Griffith on social media.
Yes.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So Jenna, we're gonna wrap it up here. Hey, thank you so much for joining us on the Vet SOS. Um, Today, on behalf of us at Vet SOS family, we'd like to thank everyone for joining us. You can find Vet SOS podcast on all your favorite platforms, YouTube, and all your social media platforms as well. Please make sure you subscribe and follow Vet SOS so you don't miss anything like this amazing interview we did with Jenna today. And so remember, don't drown in the sea of transition. Grab the Vet SOS lifeline. That's what we're here for. So thank you again, Jenna, for being here. We really appreciate it. Go get the book. Book her for a workshop. Let's get things done. All right.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so much, Jenna.
Bye, guys.